Okay, so the fan base is in this weird limbo right now. The derby high is fading, the international break is dragging, and then news drops that Vinicius hasn't trained with Brazil and is a doubt for their match against Croatia on Tuesday. And suddenly, everyone's anxiety is through the roof.
It's classic international break panic, Tio. The moment any Real Madrid player so much as sneezes in a national team camp, the whole fan base goes into full crisis mode. And with Vini, of course, it's amplified. This guy is currently the axis of everything Arbeloa is building.
And what I'm seeing from fans is not just worry, it's anger. There's a real contingent out there who are basically saying, why is he even there? After the derby, after those 2 goals, let him rest. Protect the asset. One fan put it perfectly. We just won the derby, Vini scored twice, and now Brazil are risking him for a friendly? That's the energy.
That tension between club and country never really goes away, does it? And look, we don't know the exact nature of what's going on with him, whether it's precautionary, whether it's something more serious. But the fact that he's been held out of training is enough to send the forums into overdrive.
One comment I kept seeing repeated in different forms was basically, I don't care about the Brazil result, I care about the next 10 La Liga matches. And look, I understand that's a very club-centric take, but Madre Mia, after the season this fan base has had, the injuries to Carvajal, Alaba, Militão, people are genuinely traumatized by the physio room.
The injury PTSD is real, and honestly, statistically speaking, it makes sense to be nervous. When your best player picks up something during an international break, there's nothing you can do about it. Madrid can't pull him out. And that helplessness is what fans are really reacting to here.
Exactly. The phrase I keep seeing is cuidado. Careful, be careful with him, and that's the word of the moment. Vamos, let's hope it's nothing. But let's move on, because there's another story this week that has people genuinely buzzing, and it's about Arbeloa going full sergeant mode at Valdebebas.
Right, so during the international break, Arbeloa has apparently cut the days off for the players who stayed behind and ramped up the training load. And the fan reaction to this has been almost unanimously positive, which is kind of remarkable.
Que barbaridad, yes. Fans are loving it. The word I keep seeing is professionalism. One fan wrote, and I'm translating here, this is what separates a real manager from a yes man. He doesn't care about being liked, he cares about winning. That's the vibe.
It fits the narrative that's been building around Arbeloa since he took over. Remember, not long ago, people were questioning whether he had the authority to manage egos at this level. And now fans are celebrating him for being the iron-fisted disciplinarian. The arc has been quite something.
And it connects to something we've been tracking, the La Fábrica story, because apparently the youth players at Madrid are feeling this energy too. There are reports that the path to the first team feels real again under Arbeloa, and the canteranos are reinvigorated. One comment that got a lot of traction said, "We've started believing again." That's what Arbeloa has given the academy. That's huge.
And it's not just sentiment. Enzo Alves hit a hat-trick in 35 minutes for one of the youth sides this week. 9-1 the final score. So the talent is there, and now there's apparently a structure and a belief that it can translate upward. Fans are connecting those dots.
The comment section on that academy story was genuinely heartwarming, Tio. People were saying things like, this is what Madrid should always be, not just buying Galacticos, but growing your own. There's a real ideological shift happening in how fans are thinking about the club's identity right now.
Which is interesting because it sits alongside the conversation we had yesterday about Rodrigo, the collective no thank you from fans toward outside signings who don't fit the culture. There's a coherence to this fan sentiment right now. They want winners who buy into the system, not passengers with big names.
Venga, let's talk about the Bernabéu for a second, because there's genuine excitement building around the stadium upgrades, and it's a mood lifter after all the injury anxiety. Fans are losing their minds, in a good way, about the new metro station at Santiago Bernabéu and the second LED ring.
And there's an interesting debate happening too. Some fans are floating the idea of the Bernabéu hosting Madrid Open tennis matches, like using the stadium for the big final stages of the tournament. The idea is getting traction in the comments.
One fan put it beautifully. The new metro station is going to look stunning, and with the second LED ring, the stadium just keeps improving. There's this real sense of pride about what the Bernabéu is becoming. It's not just a football ground anymore, it's becoming this multi-purpose icon.
The roofed stadium debate is interesting though. A few fans are pointing out that the closed roof actually changes the experience for some matches, and not always positively. One comment said something like, What really bugs the rivals is that after the renovation, the closed roof stops them from enjoying the view the way they used to. Which, honestly, sounds like a feature, not a bug from a Madrid fan perspective.
Ha! Exactly. If rival fans are complaining about it, we're doing something right. But look, there's also a real strand of Madrid fan opinion that just wants the atmosphere to be electric, and the roof and the LED ring are all part of that, making the Bernabéu feel like the most intimidating venue in world football again.
And with what Arbeloa is building on the pitch, the timing is perfect. You want a squad that reflects the ambition of the venue. Fans feel like those two things, the stadium and the team, are finally moving in the same direction again.
One last thing I want to flag, because it's been bubbling in the comments and it's a bit philosophical. There's this marker column about Madrid being like a collector's gallery. The idea that every Sunday, watching this team is like experiencing something rare and curated, and fans are actually engaging with that framing.
It's interesting because that's almost the antithesis of the anxiety around Vini's fitness or the Valverde red card rage we covered earlier in the week. When things are going well, fans get poetic about this club. And right now, despite the international break nerves, there's an underlying optimism that's hard to ignore.
One fan summed it up with a phrase that I genuinely can't get out of my head. We're moving forward without rushing, but without stopping either. Which, honestly, that's a beautiful way to describe where this club is right now. Hala Madrid.
That's the one. Right, we're back tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. So if anything develops overnight with Vini's fitness, or Arbeloa's Valdebebas sessions produce any more drama, we'll be all over it. Stay locked in, and Hala Madrid y nada más.